recipient. Speech.
All right, today you're going to be looking at resistance to colonialism in Africa. Here on page 42, you have a graphic organizer that you'll use this document, Resistance to Colonialism in Africa, to complete. Once you've done that, we're going to look at some case studies of decolonization in Africa. After World War I and World War II, with the exception of Egypt, we saw many European nations either voluntarily leaving their colonies in Africa or unable to maintain their colonies in Africa. So when we're contextualizing decolonization in Africa, it's important to know that European nations, who previously controlled many of the colonies in the continent, began to move into something called neocolonialism. So rather than maintaining a colony, building the infrastructure, paying government officials, which became really costly by the mid-20th century, they began instead to establish industries within other nations and use cheaper labor, cheaper resources, cheaper property that they could find elsewhere. One key example you'll see later this week is China's neocolonialism in Africa today. So now we're going to compare decolonization in Africa. For page 44, you're going to use the document called Decolonization Case Studies to complete the entire table if you're working with your group, and 2 rows if you're working on your own. Then you'll choose 2 to compare and write your thesis. And just like last time, I'm reading these theses, so make them delicious and meaty. You'll notice that one of the columns on page 44 asks you to answer the overarching or the essential question for your case study. The questions are what are listed here. They're also listed in the title of your case study.